Well, an unbelievable 2,000 of you watched yesterday's video and you made lots of comments about my lovely tie. But today I thought I'd wear a rather more normal one. Now you might have thought that I'd be slagging off Gordon Brown today over his latest humiliation over MP expenses. Can this week really get any worse for Gordon Brown? Well, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to talk about David Davis's article in the Financial Times this morning, which if you haven't seen it, take a look at it, because he's talking about what the Tories have got to do to cut public expenditure. Because there's no doubt about it that any government, whether it's Tory or Labour, has got to get a grip of our public expenditure. It's out of control, borrowing is out of control, and if tax receipts are declining, there is no way that a future government can avoid bringing public expenditure under control. Now, he talked about looking at things like Trident, which for a Tory, it's almost sacrosanct. But when you look at it, the case for a deterrent now is very different from what it was 20 years ago when we faced the Soviet threat. That threat isn't there anymore. And no one is saying, I think, that we should scrap Trident, but do we need to spend £20 billion upgrading it at the moment? He made lots of other suggestions. And I actually think that there should be no part of public expenditure that should be sacrosanct. The Tories have said, well, we're not going to cut health and education. No, maybe they shouldn't be cut, but there will be efficiencies to be made in both of those departments. The government spends at the moment about £700 billion a year. Surely it's not beyond the wit of people to work out some public expenditure cuts which would bring that down by at least 10% within a very short time. Because if they don't, and the international markets think that our economy is going down the pan and that we won't be able to repay our debts, our AAA status is going to be affected, and then we'll be paying even more interest on the amount of borrowing that we've already undertaken. So I think every Conservative, every Liberal Democrat, hopefully even some Socialists, might actually cotton on to the fact that we have got to live within our means. Yes, of course, in a recession you do undertake a bit more borrowing than you would normally, but it's got out of control now, and I think the international money markets can see that. And if they see a new government coming in that isn't committed to getting our public spending under control, they will do the only thing left open to them, and that's take their money out of this country. And that's something that we really all want to afford. Well, hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going down to Arundel to talk to the Play Radio UK people about my new radio programme, which starts next Friday at 9 o'clock. And I hope some of you will be joining me then, but I'll be talking about that more on the blog, no doubt, over the next few days. Have a great weekend if I don't see you before.